Happy Saturday. Today is Saturday, September 19th, week 38 of 2020. I hope you've had a great week. Our week has been huge. One of the things that has occurred to me this week is the fact that life is really messy. It's messy in lots of different ways. It's messy with just mess around us. Like right here in my office, it doesn't look too messy. You can see just a little bit of clutter. I could move that out of the way. But what you don't see is all the clutter that's around me that I need to clean up. But instead, I give you the chance to focus. So I'll use my 360 camera here to show you a brief snapshot of what it looks like in my office and how much I really need to clean this up. But the nice thing is we have ways of focusing in our lives despite the clutter. So I think it's really appropriate that this week, the word that Brian gave me, since this is what I've been thinking about, the messiness of life, he gave me the word whack. So the word of the week is whack, and whack is pretty much synonymous with crazy. So if something's just really messed up, you say, man, that's whack. Now, I wouldn't say that that's whack unless I'm trying to act like the dad that uses the words that his kids say he's too old to use, which I am that dad. So whack is the word of the week, and what did it say in the Urban Dictionary? The definition it gave was perplexing, unsavory, off, like that's just really off. Unusual, weird, in bad or uncomfortable way. Oh, so like dad jokes. Confusing and unsettling. Hard to understand and often not worth the effort to try to understand. And the example they put in here, can I actually use this one? Yeah, okay, this one's safe for all audiences. Yeah, that math teacher was bad, but the school just fired him out of the blue. That's whack, dude. Yeah, that's whack, dude. Sunday was a cleanup day. Cleaned the house a little bit. We all clean the house on Sunday a little bit. The kids joke when we start cleaning the house. They look at us, it's not really a joke. They look at us and say, who's coming over? As if that's the only time we clean house, which we've been guilty of that. On Monday, I got to thinking again about this birthday card that my grandfather gave me years ago that on it says, he wrote in it, dream big, it will help you grow. Love Grandpa Chuck and Grandma Gail. So I found that picture that I took of that. I don't know where the original card is. I'm glad I took a picture of it. And I put that as my wallpaper on my phone. On Monday, I think it was Monday, friends stopped by and brought me this book that they found, I think, at a garage sale or something like that. Can you see that? The Encyclopedia of Immaturity, Volume 2. Not sure where Volume 1 is, but this person obviously knew me really well if they know that I would like an Encyclopedia of Immaturity. There's some fun things inside here that I probably don't want to get into them today. There are three kinds of people in this world, those who can count and those who can't. Oh, get it? Three kinds of people in this world, those who can count and those who can't. Yeah, so all sorts of immaturity in that book. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of fun as soon as I get into reading that more. Maybe I'll share more of them in this right here. Tuesday, I got to thinking about the relationship between gratitude and curiosity and creativity and kindness and persistence. And I started to think about those as kind of a cycle. I started a little thing back here. Maybe I'll put a picture of that. I started to think of sort of a cycle of going from being grateful helps us to be happier. And then we're able to be kinder to people because we're happier people. And then I saw a flow of that into creativity and curiosity. And then that flowing into getting to a point where the creativity and curiosity is, I don't know, you run into, like writers say they get writer's block, or you run into situations where you get people criticizing the things that you're being creative with. And that led into persistence, where it's just one of those things where you have to persist in these things. And the best way to persist in those is to go back up to kindness again. And I was thinking about that because I realized that those are things that I really value in my life. And those are things that I really hope that I'm sharing with my kids and with anybody that I run into that creativity and curiosity and persistence and kindness and being grateful and thankful are all keys to really enjoying our lives. And I touched on that a little bit last week, but I guess that's what got me into thinking about the bigger picture in this. And then the bigger picture is what got me into thinking about the fact that life is messy and we got stuff around us and we need to focus. So I wrote those things down hoping that will help me focus in the midst of the chaos and clutter and not so positive things that are going on in the world at times, especially now in 2020. Yeah. Wednesday, I was thinking about the fact that I really want to play more with the art form of video, of creating. I want to learn more from other creators that are out there. I want to try emulating some different techniques. The challenge I have in that, of course, is time. Those things all take time to do, so I'm hoping to find things that I'm inspired enough to try and invest the time to learn how to do different types of ways of making video engaging to watch. I was thinking about that, thought about the people that are out there who say that if you have your work look anything like someone else's work that you're copying. I thought, surely this isn't the first time video creativity is not the first time people have been accused of copying other people. And then I thought, well, wait a second. There's been a ton of artists that all fit into a certain genre, and they're doing similar techniques as each other. And the first one that came to mind for me was Impressionists. So I looked up online Impressionism, and I found more than I had expected. At first, I just wanted to find out who was the first Impressionist artist, and that was Claude Monet. He and a group of people were all interested in creating the art form of Impressionism. They didn't have that name for it. I think there were some other names that they called it at times. But not surprisingly, the art community of the time rejected them. And they looked at them as not following the rules or standards or something like that of art. And then they basically had to go and make their own art galleries and showings and things to show the world what they liked, what they were enjoying, what they were experimenting with. So they were experimenting outside the norm, but at the same time, they were also, while they each had their own style and their own interpretation of Impressionism, they were all still emulating each other in some ways because they were creating what turned out to be another new art form. Ironically, Impressionism eventually came around to having its own set of rules of what is impressionistic, which is kind of funny since they were breaking out of rules to begin with by creating Impressionism. But that's kind of just the nature of the way things go, right? Also on Wednesday, Ben decided that he wanted to learn how to make at home, if possible, the secret sauce from Raising Cane's. So he looked online and he found some people that think they've come up with what the secret sauce is, and he put that together. And he was so funny, he came out with a dad joke after he got it, because I was like, oh, that's really close. He says, yeah, Dad, it's so close I can taste it. Wednesday, Brian came and told me that he had his first big race or reminded me that he had his first big race the next day. And I was sad because he thought it was going to be at like 12:45 in a town that's 20 minutes away. So there was no way I was going to be able to go and watch him race because it was the middle of my work day. So I was lamenting about that and wishing I could go to his race. Little did I know I was going to learn something else on Thursday. I forgot to mention on Wednesday evening, Jill texted me saying Zach's coming home. She didn't tell me when. Thursday morning, I looked at Brian and I said, did you hear that Zach's coming home? And Jill says, oh, he's home. He'd come home at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. They'd driven all night and he was asleep in his bed, which I'm sure he thought was heaven because he'd been sleeping on a cot for 3 weeks and working 13-hour days with no days off. Very, very happy to have Zachary home. Missed him so much, and he's got a lot of lessons learned from this trip. And I believe he also has enough money saved that he's finally going to be able to buy himself a car. He tried to pay for dinner for the whole family the other night, and I told him, I said, no, you'd make me much happier if you get yourself a car, because I don't want to loan mine out anymore. Thursday morning, my sister Danny, she sent me a link to a video about a man who was in a nursing home and very non-responsive to most people. They found his favorite music from when he was younger and made a playlist of it on an iPod and played it for him, and the man perked up and started singing and being able to talk about his favorite music and sing some of it. It was so touching. It literally made me cry with happy tears. I just love those types of things where music, like I've said before, music is medicine. It's powerful. And in fact, later on that day, I found another video talking about how music was being used to help people with Parkinson's who were having trouble walking. That if they brought them music of things that they used to be able to dance to, their muscle memory in their body and in their mind and in their legs, that would bring fluidity to their motion so that they were able to dance around as if they had no condition whatsoever. Again, happy tears. Love seeing that kind of thing. So midday on Thursday, I got a call from Brian. He said, "Dad, my race, I was wrong. It's actually going to be at 5:20 this evening." Immediately got my schedule together, got a hold of Zach and Ben and Jill, and we all made plans to go watch him race at 5:20 on Thursday evening. So at 5:20, Brian raced his first cross-country race. He was hoping to break his personal record of 23 minutes flat. When he came through the finish line, here's what happened. I went up to him. I thought he was trying to break 20 minutes. I went up to him and asked him how he liked his race. Did you like your race?
Yeah, I got sub 23.
Oh yeah, you got 22:16.
No.
That's what I saw when you crossed the line.
That's crazy.
He was so excited that he had gotten such a fast time, and his goal, like he said in the video, his goal is to break 20 minutes. He wants to get into the high 19s by the end of the school season. And at the rate he's going, I have no doubt he's going to make it. Well, that brings us up to Saturday, today. The only thing I wanted to mention about today is that this morning on Facebook, a guy named Richard Crabtree, who's a local historian about all things Springfield, he posted a neat little thing. We have a street here in town called Sunshine, and I didn't realize, in fact, most of the streets in Springfield, I don't know what they're named after, most of them. Battlefield's easy because we had a Civil War battlefield here in town, or here near town. So he was talking about a school called Sunshine School that the street of Sunshine was named after. I had no idea, and he went into the history of where it originally was. It's at Wonders of Wildlife right next to the Bass Pro, the granddaddy store of Bass Pro. Bass Pro is headquartered here in Springfield. Well, right next door to the big store is the Wonders of Wildlife Museum, and on that corner was the original, I want to say it was back in the late 1800s. I should look up Richard's post again. But it was the original Sunshine School, and that got moved up a couple blocks to where its current location is, and then it's been renovated and re-renovated quite a few times over the years. So that was really interesting to me, and I got into a little bit of a discussion with some of the people on that post, asking them if there's other interesting stories about streets in town and that sort of thing. I thought it might be kind of interesting if people had done any documentaries or mini documentaries on the naming of streets in historic towns like Springfield, because I bet there's a lot of history, just like Sunshine, there's a lot of history behind the naming of different streets that even the people who live there, like myself, we've been here since 2006, and I didn't know that about Sunshine until today. So that wraps up week 38 of 2020. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Today is Saturday, September 19th, week 2020. No, it is not week 2020.